Wrexham.
It was great work by Kabore. We are into the last of the 4 added minutes, although who knows how long comedy genius Steve Martin, the referee, is going to add on as O'Brien wins a free kick rather cutely. He's finally twigged that this ref will give anything. Free kick in the halfway. To be fair, there was contact and Brown doesn't complain, but what a performance this has been by Wrexham. And just that one little slip, if you want to call it that, in the 81st minute to allow Hackney to equalise. Otherwise, he'd have won here at second place to Middlesbrough. Free kick taken down the line. Smith can't get to it. O'Brien gets up, can't win it. Now then, Middlesbrough coming forwards. Kakache wins the ball well, so the referee gives a free kick, of course. 4 seconds left. But how long will this guy add on? Middlesbrough telling the keeper to come up and take it. We've had the 4 minutes now. But the ref's certainly going to allow this. Wrexham are trying to hold a really high line. It's about 35 yards out. Surely this is it. This is it. The final whistle. A brilliant performance by Wrexham, who were unlucky not to win it. A 1-1 draw at Middlesbrough with a performance of the utmost quality, I've got to say. There's more than one way to win a football match, and to be organised like that defensively, but I don't mean parking the bus, I mean just in midfield there, shape everything about it, stop Middlesbrough from playing the ball around well. Middlesbrough made 4 changes at half-time. They're flying in the league in second place, but they knew that they were in real trouble in this match at half-time because Wrexham kept it completely at arm's length. They took risks in the second half, but Wrexham had the lead after that 7th minute cute short corner, which Windass drove from distance, took a deflection off Jones, no chance of the keeper Sol Bryn, but definitely a goal which will go down to Windass. And in the second half, Wrexham with the more meaningful pressure, but defended magnificently. Okonkwo made a glorious save to deny Ayling, but in 9 minutes from the end, a great cross by Britton, headed in by Hackney, who just was able to push Dobson out of the way a little bit too easily. But let's not knock Dobson, who was superb throughout. The whole team are terrific throughout. And indeed, when it was 1-0, a great break ended with O'Brien, after Kakache had beaten 2 men, picking out Moore, a free header 6 yards out, and he hit the bar. A glorious opportunity as the Wrexham fans go across to acknowledge the brilliant support who travelled up from North Wales. I've got to say, Mia, that was a great performance, and quite frankly, I think we're very unfortunate not to get 3 points out of it.
Yeah, I think looking back, maybe you'll probably say it is probably the fair result in the end after the amount of pressure Middlesbrough put us under, but with that pressure they didn't necessarily create too many chances. I say it was probably even on chances too when you look back at it. Obviously that Ayling one, like you said, it's a great save from Arthur Okonkwo. He deserves a lot of praise because yet again he's proven that he doesn't come under necessarily loads of pressure in front of goal, but when he does, he absolutely shows his class, and he's done that again today. That's what the best goalkeepers do. He's really shown that again today. But Wrexham, I think again, will probably look back on it maybe a little bit more disappointed than glad to come away with a point after the Kiefer Moore chance late on in that second half. But it's a lot of pride they can take from that. And that, again, I think that shows, you know, they're not necessarily celebrating that point because they've got that mentality that they want to come to places like the Riverside and come away with all 3. But again, that gives us a lot of confidence going in to the rest of this busy sort of month of fixtures. On to obviously Coventry on Friday, but first it's that cup game against some other team from Wales.
Whoever they might be, who knows? I tell you what, I mean, I'm reluctant to single players out, but I think if you go through the units, like I said, Okonkwo was excellent. The central defenders defended that penalty area in the second half magnificently. They didn't have to so much in the first half, did they? Because our midfield protected them so well. But in the second half, they defended that box like their lives depended. I remember Brunt went off injured and Scar had to come on, and wow, didn't Scar show what he can do at this level?
He certainly did, and I think he's one who maybe since signing hasn't had the minutes maybe he would have wanted. But even when I look at last season with Dan Scar, when he came back into it towards the end of last year, which wasn't easy games necessarily to come into when the pressure was on, he did ever so well. And this year maybe again feels a little bit hard done by not to have been trusted in this league. But your time does come. Football's a weird sort of one like that. You can find yourself out of it, and then, you know, few days later, you're suddenly first name on the team sheet. And that's what a number of these players are showing at the moment, whether it's him, George Thomason, George Dobson, even Matty James. They've come back in. Ryan Longwin again, I thought today did well defensively. It's exactly what Phil Parkinson will want to see, just so much strength and depth. And when these players are called on, they tend to deliver. And I totally agree. I thought defensively, again, we were excellent today. Just one little switch off maybe. But again, you've got to give credit to Middlesbrough in that situation as well. I thought it was a really good ball in from Britton, and then again, good play from Hayden Hackney, who on the most part we were able to keep relatively quiet today, which isn't an easy task.
Oh, he's an absolute class act, isn't he? Yeah, I was looking at my notes though, and I've barely written anything down by Middlesbrough. You know, I looked down the significant chances. I've written on pretty much as much by Wrexham as by Middlesbrough, which tells you something. But, and also, I just need to say on a side point, I've just gone to find a photo to use from the game to use on the Hot Take podcast thumbnail, and I found a perfect one of Ayling lying on the floor and the referee giving a free kick while the Wrexham players all look utterly astonished. So that seems to sum up a key part of the game. And then, like I said, midfield was so well drilled, great shape. The wing backs were really good with and without the ball, weren't they? And when Kakache came on, he looked impressive. All round, it was just a masterclass in terms of how you set yourself up against a strong passing team, because they really did, as I say, struggle to make the chances.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we always say in this system how important those wing backs are. But in that first half, they did ever so well in terms of that trigger and that press. I just thought they were so keen to go and so trusting of those around them that they were going to do their job, because that's what you've got to do. When you do that press, you can't be looking back, checking your shoulder and sort of half doing it. It's got to be 100%. And they did that all the way today. And then especially in the second half when Middlesbrough made that tweak, or, well, major tweak really, wasn't it, with the 4 changes and changing the system. Again, it didn't look to really cause Wrexham too many issues, and that can sometimes happen when you make a major change like that. It can really sort of really hassle your opposition side and take them a few minutes, but Wrexham straight away were absolutely on it and showed some real signs of real quality. And again, I think you've got to give a lot of credit to obviously the whole team, but going back to that midfield unit as well, Matty James, George Thomason, George Dobson, again like Wednesday, were superb and make it a really difficult challenge now for Phil Parkinson to pick a side for the next few games.
Well, exactly. We're bound to see rotation on Tuesday, but yeah, a few of those players maybe weren't in the first 11, the notional first 11, and they've really made a claim. Thomason as well, just want to say, has really, again, shown what he's all about. And you said in the commentary, just like Wednesday, Matty James rolling back the years. I mean, he's such authority in midfield, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and you know, I think I said it as well about how that sort of tweak, maybe when people first saw it on Wednesday against Oxford, that maybe you sort of on first glance go, oh, you know, it's a bit more defensive, and maybe we lose a bit going forward when you don't have someone like Lewis O'Brien or even Ollie Rathbone. I know he hasn't featured this season in the side, and obviously today again with maybe when you've taken someone like Nathan Broadhead out for Josh Windass. But I thought again we still show so much on that counter attack, or even in possession. We look so bright going forward at times, and you know, we don't get enough credit for that sometimes. I think from you know, a lot of people across sort of football in this country, I think they're so quick to sort of judge that Parkinson style of football. But you've got to say, whether we're having 2 shots or 15, whatever gives you the result, you've got to back. And at the moment, Wrexham have got a plan and they're executing it.
Well, absolutely so. I was thinking actually at the end of the game, you know, if you watch that game and all you can take out of it is a sort of cliched idea that somehow Wrexham just parked the bus, then you really don't understand what you're watching, because that was a brilliantly set up team who were dangerous on the break and could easily have won that game, and could easily win it by more than 1 goal, because we carved out a couple of good chances. Forgot to mention in the first half as well, when it was 1-0, Windass had a shot from inside the box that a defender just about deflected over the bar. Could easily have been a goal, and that was great stuff. Shame we let in the late equaliser. Shame that we haven't met Bob Mortimer yet. Don't know if he's here or not, but you know, apart from that, and I haven't seen And I sort of wanted to, but I didn't have time to. That not far from here is Ayresome Park, their old ground. There's a lovely commemoration of the old ground here, that they've got the old gates up at the entrance, which are iconic because in the mid-80s they were locked out of their own ground, and there's this famous picture of those gates with a padlock on it, and yet they managed to survive. And the Spirit of 86 banner that they have in the corner of the ground is referring to how they wouldn't let their club die, which is brilliant. So having those gates there is really impressive. I like it a lot. But also the housing estate, which is now on Ayresome Park, has got a park which maintains the centre circle. Apparently, although the club websites say this, but I can't find anyone else saying it on the internet, the penalty spot has also been preserved at one end and is in someone's garden. But what I have seen, and I know is there, but I'm not going to get a chance to see, is 1966, North Korea pull off one of the biggest shocks in history, knocking Italy out of the World Cup at Ayresome Park. There is a brass sculpture embedded in someone's front garden of the feet of Pak Du-ik, the bloke who scored the goal, at the exact spot where he hit the ball. And I'm really, that sounds like the best thing in the world, and I'm really annoyed that I'm probably within half a mile of it, but I'm not going to go end up seeing it. Oh well, maybe we'll play him next year in the Premier League, do you think?
Maybe.
Brilliant. Well, that was an excellent performance by Wrexham. I'm lucky not to get the 3 points, but certainly again showing, throw us against the best teams in the Championship, why don't you? And we'll show what we can do. Excellent stuff. It's been a pleasure bringing the game to you, and as always a pleasure commentating with Mia. Although of course when she plays for Llandudno against Wrexham in a couple of weeks, my attitude towards her will have done a complete 180 degrees. And remember, of course, Wrexham's Women live tomorrow. That's a cracking game at Aberystwyth as we look to maintain our title push. And also I get to continue my Ironman challenge, because doing those 2 games means I'll do 500 miles in 2 days, which I think's got to be a personal best, I suspect. So I'm looking forward to that. And I've also been given tips on the chip shop, which is best to go to, which looks like a crack den, but the chips are good. It looks like the sort of place you're either going to get food poisoning or stabbed in there, but the chips are worth it. So there we go. Good performance by Wrexham. Right, let's get back to the car with a final score of Middlesbrough 1, Wrexham 1. We've been Mark Griffiths and Mia Roberts from Wrexham AFC.